Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Lily. I am a 26-year-old zero-based cash budgeter and stuffer up in Maine. I've been doing the budget by paycheck method of cash budgeting for almost 5 years now, and this system has provided me with the tools to pay down debt and to purchase the home that I live in now with my fiance and our 3 dogs. And if any of that sounds like content that may interest you, I sincerely hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button and sending some support my way. But happy Money Monday, everyone. How are we doing? How are we feeling today? Happy November. We are here to budget out the first pay period of the month, and I am super excited. So we are going to dive right in. If you guys are new, I do the zero-based budget by paycheck method, and I also do cash envelopes and cash stuff. So every time I get paid, I pull the money out in cash and I separate it out into different categories. So the categories are grouped in a binder. This is a binder, for example, and these are just some envelopes. We'll go through them in just a second, but the way that I set up my binders, I have a wallet where I keep gas, groceries, miscellaneous spending, weekly spending, essentially. I have a little section up here in my budget to record my income. I have some sinking funds listed. I have some savings categories. I have some business categories. And then here I combine 2 binders actually on my budget, but basically this is all of my bills, my debt categories, and some subscriptions that I save for throughout the month. So that is the breakdown. We are going to jump right in. I'm going to start with my income. I have 2 forms of income that I'm working with this week from my full-time job. We have $617. And then from Etsy, you guys, which just a quick reminder, my Etsy shop is on sale through the end of today. So today's the last day of the Halloween sale. If there's anything that you guys are interested in, definitely check that out. The link is in the description box. But from Etsy this week, we made $350, which is super exciting. So $350 plus $617 gives us $967 for our total income, which is amazing. So before we get into the budget, I need to find my budgetable income, which is the income that we have from my total, and then leaving money in the bank for certain things that are going to be auto drafting. I have certain weekly amounts that transfer out to my retirement fund, to my high yield savings account, things like that. So this week we are leaving $70 in the bank. So $967 minus 70 gives us $897 for my budgetable income. So the very first thing that I will budget out is my bills, my debt, my subscriptions, the necessities, if you will. So I'm going to pop my calculator off to the side and grab my bills binder, if I can get her open. She is pretty empty right now because we just did our unstuffing. If you guys missed that, I will link that right up by the candle. But we're going to go through my categories and I'm going to calculate how much I need to stuff. So my mortgage payment, my portion of the mortgage, how my fiance and I split things, is $406. Now to budget by paycheck, I'm getting 4 paychecks this month. So I'm going to divide that total monthly amount between my 4 paychecks, and I need to stuff $101.50. So I'm just going to go 102 because I don't like to deal with change in my stuffings. So my internet bill is $48 a month. It's $47.50. So divided by my 4 paychecks is $12 a week. Now, my electric bill does vary. I have been saving $240 a month, but it's been a little bit lower than that. So I'm just going to go down to $200 a month. Divided by those 4 paychecks would be $50 a week. Now, my heat bill and my water and sewer bill, these ones are of course variable and not regularly like monthly payments. So I stuff $25 a week to try to save $100 a month in each of those. That's just how I personally do it. My phone bill is $60 a month. Divided by the 4 paychecks is $15 a week. My car insurance, again, similar to water and sewer and heat, this is due every 6 months. So I stuff $25 a week or $100 a month until that comes due or until I fully fund that one. My pet insurance is $100 a month, but my fiance and I split it. So $50 a piece divided by the 4 paychecks is $12.50. So I'm going to go $13 a week. My health insurance is $298 a month divided by the 4 paychecks is $74.50. So we'll do $75 a week. Now my vehicle registration, similar to my car insurance, this is due yearly. So I only stuff $5 a week until I reach $200. We're already at $65, which I do sell these customizable placeholders in my shop if you guys are interested. And they are on sale until tonight. But we have 65 in there and I only need 200 by next August. So once we get to 200, I'll swap this placeholder out for a fully funded placeholder and all that money will sit in the bank accruing interest until it's ready to be paid. My Sam's Club membership, for example, this one I only needed 120. This renews in February, and this one is already fully funded. So all of this money has been sitting in the bank for a hot minute, and it's just accruing interest until it is ready to be renewed. So those are all of my bills categories. I am going to swap over to my debt and subscriptions binder here. So for debt, my Discover payment. Now for this one, my goal is $600 a month, but I do pre-plan to use a portion of my YouTube income. I only get paid once a month from YouTube, and it's at the end of the month. So I have already pre-planned to take $300 of that paycheck and put it towards my Discover card. So throughout the month, technically, I only need to save $300. So divided by 4 paychecks, that is $75 a week. For my care credit, there currently is not a balance on that card, so we're just going to skip it. For my TJ Maxx card, my goal this month is going to be $200. So divided by the 4 paychecks is $50 a week. My student loans, which I combine my federal and my personal student loans, are $500 a month. Divided by the 4 paychecks is $125. I am currently in school, so technically my federal student loans are in deferment, but interest is still accruing. So those ones are only $100 a month, so I'm just still paying those. Then, of course, my personal student loans, which are $400 a month, are not in deferment while I'm in school. So that's fun. And then, we paid my brother back, you guys. So his payback is officially done, and that is so exciting. So I can take that right out. And then I'm not currently budgeting anything for back to school. I did sign up for classes for my last semester. I'll be taking 1 online in the winter and then 1 online and 1 in person in the spring. And then hopefully I'll be all done. But what's left in here, I think, should cover any books that I may need, hopefully. So, we'll go from there. But in terms of subscriptions, now I am already fully funded for this upcoming month's subscriptions, but we are going to continue budgeting for next month to make sure that we stay ahead on those because they don't come out all at the same time. They come out, some of them the first week of the month, some in the middle, some at the end. So for Amazon Prime, that is $15 a month. Divided by my 4 paychecks is $3.75. So we'll just do $4 a week. For Canva Pro, same thing, $15 a month, $4 a week. And if you're curious, won't that end up being more if I do 4 times the 4 paychecks ends up being 16. So all I do is the very last paycheck of the month, I just get to stuff a little bit less. And that helps me out a little bit budget wise. So for Canva Pro, Oops, we just did that one. Planet Fitness is $23.06. I just rounded up to 24 to be safe. Divided by the 4 paychecks is $6 a week. And then Spotify is $12.65, so I round that up to 13. Divided by 4 is $3.25. So similarly, I'm just going to round that up to $4. And then Washville is $30 a month, $29.99. Divided by the 4 paychecks is $7.50, so I do $8 a week. So that is all of my bills, my debt, and my subscriptions. Next, I am going to calculate the total of all of this and just pop it down here. Okay, I got 623, but I always recommend that everyone double check their math, so I'm just going to calculate that one more time. Okay, 623, perfect. So before I figure out how much I have left to work with, I am going to pop down to business here. So when Etsy pays me that $350, that is untaxed. So in order to stay ahead or prepared at least come tax season, I try to leave 25% in taxes aside for tax season. So that would be $87.50. I'm actually just going to round that down to $85. And then I did put a significant amount in my stamps.com account for shipping labels. So I think I'm all set for shipping as of right now. Stamps.com, the membership is $21 a month. Divided by the 4 paychecks is $5.25. So I stuff $6 a week. And then I had $110 in supplies. And I mentioned I got like 4 things. I think it was 5 because I think I did get a little pack of stickers too for like little freebies. But yeah, 4/5 items was the whole $100. So I am going to put $25 extra in there just to slowly start preparing myself for the next big order that I'll need to make. So 85 plus 6 and 25 is $116 going toward the business. Okay, so now I'm going to take the $897 for our budgetable income, subtract the $623 and the $116. So we have $158 left to work with. So the first thing next I'm going to do is go up to my wallet because I'm going to need some money for gas, groceries, things like that. So I always put 5 $1 bills into a miscellaneous envelope in my wallet, basically so that I don't have to break bigger bills if I need ones, things like that. That's just what I do. For gas, I'm actually over halfway full right now, and with today is Sunday that I'm filming this, and I actually don't have class on Tuesday, so I won't have to drive the half hour there, half hour back to get to and from class on Tuesday. So I think instead of doing my normal $50 a week, I'm just going to do $40 for gas. And then, okay, I was just checking the account that the money goes in from my plasma donations. I'm only down to $17 in there, but I am donating Monday, tomorrow. So it'll be today that you're seeing this, but I do plan on donating. So that'll be 35. And then I'm donating again on Wednesday or Thursday. So that'll be 45. So I typically use that for like food. If I happen to have under budgeted on gas or groceries, things like that, and miscellaneous unbudgeted expenses. So when I'm thinking about groceries, I think I'm going to do $40 in cash for that. And then the rest I'll use from the donations. So we have $73 left. The next thing I'm going to do is grab my savings challenge binder, and I want to stay on track in here. So I'm going to go back to the new month of November and just check. This one's a lower month. We're only saving 35. So I have a 10, 2 5s, and a 15. Now we have 73 left. So it might make sense to do the 15 and get that one out of the way. I think I'm going to be ballsy and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put $15 towards the yearly savings challenge. We'll do that. Okay, so we have $58 left. Let's check in my savings binder and just see where we're at in some categories. So I've been trying to rebuild my home emergency binder since we had to, I can't remember if it was the dehumidifier in the basement. I think that might have been the last big purchase that we had to make. So I went from $500 to $350. And I would like to get back up to at least $500, although it's just not the biggest priority right now, and I have some other things that I know I need to save for. Okay, the baby category where I'm saving for like future kiddos, we have 1,050, but this is kind of like my throwaway category or like my spillover run. I don't know what I would call it, but basically I have $58 left, and that's not an even 5 or 10. So this is where I would typically throw away those extra ones. So I'm going to do $8 towards the baby binder, or the baby envelope. And we're down to $50 left. So I do have some sinking funds. I wrote down my like main priorities right now, which are the dogs, always, Christmas, my household, like toiletries and things like that. And then I am saving up to be a bridesmaid in one of my bridesmaids' weddings a couple months after mine. And then I'm also saving for the wedding. So I'm just going to put a circle and a line through home emergency. We're just not going to stuff that this week. And let's see where we're at for some of my sinking funds here. So for the dogs, we have 50, 70, and 75. Not bad. I don't pull from here very often. Christmas has 50, 100, and 105. For toiletries, I have 20, 30, 40, 55, and 60. And then for bridesmaid, we have 80. Okay, so I think I'm going to put $20 into bridesmaid. And we're going to get that up to 100 nice and quick. So we have $30 left. And I think I'm going to put all of that towards the wedding. I just think that that's the responsible thing to do for right now. So we're not going to stuff the dogs, Christmas, or toiletries. I think those are all set, at least for this week. So $20 total is going to go towards sinking funds. 30, 15, and 8 makes $53 going into savings, and then $85 is going to go into my wallet. So we do just need to quickly double check the math on this. So 617 plus 350 is 967 minus the $70 we're leaving in the bank is $897 for budgetable income. We're budgeting $85 for weekly spending on gas and groceries. $623 is going to go this week towards my bills, my debt, and subscriptions for next month. $20 into savings, $53 into $20 into sinking funds, $53 into savings, and $116 towards my business gives me $0 left over. So that is therefore the zero-based budget by paycheck method. We are budgeting each paycheck fully to get us where we need to be by the end of the month. And at the end of each budget, there is $0 left over, meaning every single dollar that we made has a job, it has a role to play. It is going to be pulled out in cash and stuffed into a specific envelope so that it is not spent throughout the month. And then at the end of the month, once everything is fully funded and we have everything we need, we'll pull it all back out, put it back into the bank and get our bills paid and put some money into our high yield savings account. So that is how we will be budgeting out my first pay period of November. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Feel free to sound off in the comments. Check out my Etsy shop, you guys. It is on sale until tonight, or 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check that out if you guys are interested. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our first cash stuffing of October. Goodness gracious, November. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. And I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day, week, month, year. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.